Hello and welcome to the When You're Podcast, the podcast for when you're doing anything. Today I want to talk about when you're watching The Gray Man on Netflix, directed by Anthony and Joe Russo. These are the same guys who directed Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, which I really enjoy and love from the MCU. Let's start off by spoilers for this movie, starring Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, Jessica Henwick. There's also Billy Bob Thornton's in the movie. So, spoilers for the movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's on Netflix. It's, without a doubt, a great popcorn movie. It's one of those movies where it's just like, you have to enjoy it for what it is. You can't be like, oh, but that's not realistic. It's like, be quiet, shut up, Just have fun with it. And it's that popcorn movie that you really like, it knows what it is and it does it well. It has fun with it, It's trying to be this assassin, spy, kind of thriller thing, action, fun. It's an action thriller. And I think it does that pretty well. I think the characters are what really sell it. The actors, Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans fighting, against one another in a movie. I think that's really cool. It's kind of like when they got Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt to do a movie together. Everybody was like, "Whoa, how have these two big names in Hollywood never worked together?" It's that same thing, Even though they've both worked with Ana de Armas on Chris Evans worked with her on Knives Out. And Ryan Gosling's worked with her on Blade Runner for 2049. So they got a little bit of experience with each other. These actors are coming together. It's really cool and it's fun to see. So right off the bat, there are a couple of scenes in there that obviously I could nitpick, but I just enjoy it. There's a scene where Ryan Gosling is in a well. He's down in a well, right? He's been trapped. He's supposed to be killed by Chris Evans' character because he has, he's supposed to give over a USB drive or filled with names of people who have done bad things or whatever. It's supposed to be incriminating. And Chris Evans' character is supposed to get it from him. Ryan Gosling's character, who is named Sierra 6. Number just 6, right? And I think in the movie, he's in this well, right? And he does what anybody would do, really, is shoot at the window, right? Shoot at the top and try to escape through there. But it's bulletproof. He can't get out. So what is the next logical step? Oh, just take apart your gun and any other devices around you. He breaks a water pipe in the well so that it fills up, and he makeshifts a bomb right then and there. And then he floats to the top. He puts the bomb to the ceiling, he dives down, and it explodes, and then he's able to escape. And that's just what anybody would do, not just a skilled assassin, just a man who's capable of anything, really, That's really what you could do. There's another scene where Ryan Gosling's character is handcuffed by the police to a concrete bench or whatnot. And it's in the middle of this town square plaza thing. And Chris Evans' character sends people over there to kill him. To kill Sierra 6, Ryan Gosling. And he's legit handcuffed to this bench. And nobody can kill him. They're in a fight with the police. And against all odds, he is somehow miraculously still alive. He can't shoot the handcuff off because his gun is out of bullets. And now he's just in the middle of a gunfight with the police and Chris Evans' character leading this militia to get Ryan Gosling. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And you're just sitting there he should be dead. He should be dead, but he's not. And you kind of like it a little bit because it adds more to the suspense and the thrill of it all. There's a moment where Ryan Gosling escapes that bench, and then he finally makes it onto a train, and then the train starts. It's it's kind of like that Shang-Chi movie where he's on the bus and they have that big fight on the bus, but instead it's on a train, and he's running on top of the train, and Ana de Armas' character is driving a car, and he jumps on the car and he miraculously survives this big destruction. of the train, and you're just like, what in the world is going on? But you're eating your popcorn, you're eating it up, you're enjoying it. This is what I got out of the movie. Is you can't, if you want to nitpick, nitpick. If you want to have fun, just watch it. Watch Ryan Gosling jump and fight and kill people. Watch Chris Evans yell and scream and be evil. Because Ryan Gosling really sells this movie. He does a great job as the character. Early on, you kind of just learn who he is. Because in the beginning, he has to assassinate somebody, but they got like a little kid next to him. So he's like, I'm not going to kill this person on the slight chance that maybe he moves and I kill the kid. He has morals, even though he's an assassin. Top tier trained killer, but he's not just going to do whatever. So then he opts out of it, and then he tries to kill the person another way. And he does, because he's the best. And then that's when he gets the drive, and that's when he's supposed to come in and give it back, but they instead send somebody else in pursuit of him, and that ends up being Chris Evans' character. And there's another moment with Ryan Gosling, and this is Ryan Gosling only. He's in an airplane, and he's just been rescued from finding the drive and being, he could have been killed, but he didn't. He made it through, and now he has to give this back to the proper authorities to handle the bad guys, right? Well, they end up getting to his mentor, who is played by Billy Bob Thornton, and they kidnap, or they kidnap his niece, I think it is his daughter or whatnot, and she has a heart condition, so she has like a pacemaker, and she goes to the hospital very often. She's used to it, that's the life that you live. And so his character cares about the niece, the girl, because one time he had to protect her. He had to be her bodyguard and watch over her and protect her. They're kind of like a family. They got like a sibling relationship, if you will. And so what ends up happening is he's on this plane, he's going back home, and he's been compromised because they kidnap the girl and they tell him, you have to get that guy to me. Chris Evans is telling him, you have to get that guy over to me, and if you don't, the girl dies. Well, he tells the men on the plane to kill Ryan Gosling, and what do you know it? Ryan Gosling kills them all, jumps out of the airplane without a parachute, jumps onto somebody else, opens their parachute, and they miraculously land, and they live. And all ends well. And that's when I knew that this movie was really, really going to be just nuts. Nothing was going to be what I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be more of like a more thriller than it was just like plain action, but it was a lot of action and a good amount of thriller. So I think that was kind of what they were going for, and I really liked it. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's not like Mission Impossible, right? Where like Mission Impossible, they're kind of doing the stunts, and then once they do it, it's like it builds up to something. This one was more of just like a rescue. It was more of like I'm going to expose you because you're the bad guys, and I'm the good guy, and I'm going to save the person. And it was kind of just not very cut and dry. It wasn't very like bland, but the story was just a lot of like, okay, how do they get out of this? Like a really logical way. Well, they're going to do it in an illogical way, and you're going to watch it all unfold, and you just got to accept it. You can't be like, well, that would never happen. Of course, you jump out of an airplane without a parachute and then you grab onto somebody else who does. That's totally logical. Anybody would do that. There has to be, you have to imagine, right? This is all fiction. This is all not real. But there has to be somebody out there like Ryan Gosling, right? Like his character. In the movie, like Sierra 6, somebody like kind of like the James Bond archetype, where it's like they can do anything. They can kill anyone. They know martial arts. They can shoot perfectly. They just get the job done. Perfect assassin, perfect spy. And you're just like, how do they do it? And they'll usually always tell you that It's impossible. It can't be done. This isn't the way to do it. That usually never happens. But you got to think, what if it does? It could, and it can. You know, you can't say it can't not happen, but there's a possibility there is somebody out there who's capable of doing all of those remarkable things at any given time. And there also has to be people like, I mean, in this movie, Chris Evans' character, his only job is to get Ryan Gosling and to give him the drive by any means necessary. And his character's name is Lloyd. And he's just a real creep. He's a torturing psychopath. He just does whatever it takes to get it. He doesn't care about civilian casualties. He doesn't care about torturing people. He doesn't care about anything. He doesn't care about kids. He's just like, whatever I can do to get what I want. Whether it's by cheating, whether it's lying, whether it's just like flexing my own muscles, taking it, doing anything it takes, essentially. That's what his character is all about. And I like Chris Evans as the bad guy. I saw it in Knives Out. Spoiler alert. You know, in the movie, he's the bad guy. He's trying to trick Ana de Armas' character into giving him all of the money, or like trying to make it seem like she can't inherit anything, and he does. But it doesn't end up working well for him. That's what I'll say about the movie. But I do like him because it's such a different thing from when he was doing his MCU Captain America stuff. Because he was such a good character in that one. Such a good guy. A perfect man, if you will. But in this one, you kind of see his range and ability to be mean and evil and to push people and to be sarcastic and to be sociopathic and kind of having no empathy or care for people, just to be a menace to society. And there's this big showdown between Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling at the end of the movie, right? You get to the end of the movie and you're kind of like, all right, this is it. The big showdown, hand-to-hand combat, all or nothing. And Ryan Gosling's character isn't fazed by it at all. He knows that he's capable and he's strong. But Lloyd, on the other hand, has like something to prove. You know, he thinks he's better than Ryan Gosling's character. He thinks he's better than Six. So he wants to fight him. He wants to prove that he can best him. And when he's losing the fight, because he does end up losing it, a little bit, he takes out a knife and he starts stabbing him. He starts cheating. He starts doing what he knows best, and that's just to do whatever it takes to get the upper hand. Not fair, not right, but winning. That's all that matters to this person. And in the end, doesn't serve him any good. In the end, they killed him. Jessica Henwick's character kills him, and it's just like, I never understood that. Like, I mean, Chris Evans is a great character, and some characters deserve to die, but I'm kind of getting the sense that this movie is going to be like a franchise, because, I mean, the way they left it off felt so, it felt like they were going to keep building out more and more and more of it, so you were kind of like left wondering like, oh, I wish they had kept Chris Evans around if they were going to continue this, I don't know who could realistically be brought in, but, whatever. But yeah, they killed Chris Evans' character with, and you're just left there like, oh man, that wasn't how I kind of wanted him to go down another way or a different way. But all that matters is that he dies in the movie, and you're like, phew, got rid of him. He's gone. Thank goodness. The world is right again. And when you feel like that about any like bad guy or villain or, antagonist of any story, that's how you know that the character did a good job in that role. Because you're supposed to not like them. You're supposed to want them to be dead or to want the worst for them because they do want the worst for other people. They do bad things will happen to you. And that's kind of what we all want. Whereas if like good things happen or goes in their favor, you're like, you just want to kill somebody. You just want to be like, oh man, why did things have to go like that? You get enraged. You're like, I will murder somebody right now. And that's kind of what I get the feeling of when I was watching this movie. Just like, end him already, you know? He took away so much, and for what? He's never going to get that drive. He's never going to get that thing. You know, there has to be, they probably made a copy. They probably did all they can. And it feels, it gave me a good sense of like, okay, they killed him, but now I wish they hadn't, because he is such a good actor, and he's such a good character, so hated by me, that I wish they had kept him around, and they could have kept on going more and more and more with it. But hey, it is what it is. You know, you just learn to live with it. And then there's Anna the Armas character, which her character set up the next movie, if they ever do another one. I don't know, because she ends up having the drive, I think, or she gives it back, I think is how it goes, right? And when she gives it back, she kind of like, I think she makes a copy of it, and she's like, if you do anything out of line with the little girl, or, you know, the girl, I'm going to expose you. You know, it's out there. And she also gets to keep her job. She gets to do her thing. Because in the movie, I don't think she's ever been, she's picking up her action from like when she did that James Bond movie with Daniel Craig. Because that was cool. You know, it was nice to see a little cameo, a little like Knives Out cameo in that movie. And it was really cool to see her get a little bit of action experience, and it kind of works out for her in this movie, where she's able to fight. You know, she's able to do a lot more stunts. She's able to do a lot more action, and I don't think she's ever really shown that off all that well, except for the James Bond movie and this one, which is cool. And overall, her character was pretty much just like, kind of just like wanting to save the little the girl, because she saves 6, and 6, if she turns in 6, she's supposed to get her job back or whatever, but she ends up learning the truth, which is they kidnapped her and they're trying to turn over 6. So she's like, we'll save her, we'll get my job back, and everything will be all good. We'll expose them. And what ends up happening is that Jessica Henwick's character kills Chris Evans, takes over, blames it all on Chris Evans. You know, like she has no fault of her own, or the people she works for are at no fault. It was all on his own accord that he went after Ryan Gosling. And she fixes the story, and Ana de Armas gets her job back, and everything happens all happy, dandy, and dory. And what ends up happening is she keeps the little girl as a prisoner to make sure Ryan Gosling, Sierra 6, does whatever they say, you know? You'll do whatever we want because we have somebody you care about, and that's it, you know, that's that. But by the end of the movie, you're just kind of like, that's messed up, that can't happen. And so what ends up happening is Ryan Gosling escapes this maximum security, it's not like a prison kind of, but it's underneath like this house, and that's where they keep the girl. They keep the girl above in the house area, and they keep Ryan Gosling in this security prison where they can just trap him and do whatever he wants. And he ends up escaping. And he saves the girl. And I like that. I like it when a story ends on a positive note. It's not so much about like dramatic or things didn't work out that well. They're able to end it with a little bit of hope. You know, just a little bit. And that's what I got from this, was that there's some hope for the girl to live a normal life, and for him to also live a normal life and not have to live with the shackles of being just this assassin and whatever. He's able to live freely, sort of. But that's not totally true. They're going to hunt them down after he saves the girl. They're going to go after him. He can't be just left alone. He's a killer. He knows too much. So that's why I feel like there's going to be like another movie, a sequel to this, you know, maybe a whole franchise, if you will, to this one. And I have no problem with that. I kind of want to see where they go with it. I think Ryan Gosling is really cool in an action role, and he's very, very capable of selling the action, and he adds a little bit of himself to his characters. He adds his humor, his kind of mannerisms, and his tone of voice kind of follows him, and it doesn't really feel like he changes all too much in this movie from himself, but he definitely has some moments where he sells that he's a different character. He's not just him, and he's just so fighting. And then finally, there is a song in this movie that I really, really like. It's called Silverbird. You should definitely go listen to it. It's a fun song. And I like how they kind of make songs into anthems for certain moments. Because like when there's a bad guy on screen, they turn on the classical music. And I kind of like that, where they completely transform it to where it's not just classical music is a time period piece. It has to be for when it was in the 1800s, or it's just supposed to be something kind of boring now. Instead, they made it, thematic, where it's the bad guy or the evil person, the weirdo or whoever, the villain. They get this classical music behind them, and it makes them evil. It's kind of like an evil anthem. It's kind of an evil song for them. And then there's the Silverbird song from this movie that is just kind of an action. That's when you know that like violence is happening. Because in the movie, the girl plays it on like a little record player that she has. And that's when you know that Ryan Gosling is coming to save the day and fighting people. Because the first time she played it, in the background, Ryan Gosling was protecting her, and he was beating up somebody who was trying to kill her to get to Sierra Six's mentor, played by Billy Bob Thornton. And he's fighting, and then it all comes full circle again when he saves her from the house, and they're able to escape. And it ends up becoming like the theme song of the movie. And I like it when certain songs become theme songs for movies. And it just becomes this really cool thing. It kind of feels like they attach the song to the movie, or like specific scenes, before they attach the full script or the full scene to the, you know what I mean? Like, you do an action scene, you do a full sequence, and then you add music to it. Well, it felt like they had the music, and then they add the action scene to it. If that makes sense. And there are moments where it works, and there are moments when it doesn't work, and I feel like for this movie, it definitely worked. It was a good song choice, because sometimes some songs are just kind of like, what in the world? This just feels like weird or out of place, or it kind of just doesn't flow right. And then, like in the movie, in the movie Free Guy, they play this song by Logic, and they play it like a few times, and it just kind of felt, not that it's a bad song, it's actually a really good song, but I had heard it previously in another movie, and I was kind of like, the reusing of it just didn't really fit all that well for me. But it was still cool, it was still fun. And in this movie, it definitely worked out, everything happened, and it was really cool, it was a lot of fun. So that's my review for this movie, kind of. When you're watching it, just have fun. Just take it for what it is. Eat your popcorn, drink your soda, or whatever it is that you'd like to snack on when you're watching a movie, and enjoy it. Have fun. Get involved. Get into the action. Don't be like, well, this could never happen in real life. This isn't my kind of movie. No, just focus on the idea that Ryan Gosling is this assassin, Chris Evans is this psychopath, and they clash against each other, and they end up coming at a cross, a real power dynamic. And it's just about action and saving and rescue. That's what it's about. And you can do it too. There's somebody out there. There has to be. There just has to be somebody out there capable of doing anything and everything, Kind of like a Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt character, just able to do it. A James Bond who's capable and survives and completes the mission. Yeah. So, anyways, go check out The Gray Man on Netflix. This has been the When Your Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time. Thank you.